I'm going to start with the home builders because it was the home builders who actually put their sweat and blood into this house and decided that this would be a great opportunity to create a much more green house. We've had pretty efficient houses over the years, but this one adds some extra elements to it. And I'm going to turn it over to Kim Shanahan, the Executive Officer of the Home Builders Association, to talk about the green aspects of the house.
Well, okay. The first thing that we were struck by is that this is the downtown historic district. This lot was actually a right-of-way. It was never a single-family lot in zoning. When they created Paseo de Peralta out here, this little spot was a right-of-way. And so it sat here as a vacant lot for years and years and years. And the city finally realized, I think it was Councilor Feldmeyer, that we should turn this into a residential lot. And they rezoned it, and then they leased it to Habitat, I think on a 99-year lease for a year or something. But it was an exciting opportunity for us to show that green-built homes don't have to be some exotic creatures, that they fit in every neighborhood. And if you can fit it into the historic district, which has very particular rules, then you can fit it into any neighborhood. And mostly what we start with in terms of green is the envelope of the house, the walls, the ceiling, the floors. And Habitat, as Maggie said, has already been very, very efficient, partly because they get free 2-inch rigid insulation from Dow Corning for all Habitat homes in America. This home, we also expanded the walls to 2x6, and we put in a relatively new insulation product. Ricardo Sanchez, Bailey Insulation, donated the Icynene insulation. Ricardo's phone number is not ringing much these days, so if you need some insulation, Ricardo's the guy to call. Anyway, in a 2x6 construction, that Icynene has an R value of
3.6 per inch. So we got R19 in the walls, and then we got the additional insulation on the outside.
So these walls are way higher than so. In the ceiling, we have R50 recycled cellulose that was donated by Miller Insulation. I don't think Miller's here today. The stem walls and our foundation are insulated concrete form systems, R22. That same R10 insulation underneath all the slabs. Energy efficient windows from Pella Windows, Sarah Saline from Pella. So the first principle is just tightening up the envelope and really insulating this envelope, and that we've done that. The next thing we did is we wanted to put a solar panel on this roof. Some people believe you can't put a solar panel in the historic district. It's not prohibited, we just can't, you're not allowed to see it. So we raised our parapets a little bit, put the panel, it's not here yet, it'll go in the middle of the house, so it really won't be visible from any of the streets or sidewalks around here, and this fits right into the historic. That solar panel was sized to be big enough to heat all the hot water that Yvette and Paul will need for the shower and cleaning and things like that. But because there's only 2 folks in this house, we also tied that panel into the heating system. And because unless they take 2 3-hour-long showers, and Paul will be. But the 80-gallon tank that will go back here in the laundry room will be able to also provide hot water to that heating system. It's called a Life Breath Clean Air Furnace. It's a Canadian-made furnace, also donated. And that furnace makes hot air by having air flow over tubes of hot water. So any way you can make hot water, you can make hot air. It's a downdraft furnace, and it will come through insulated ducting that went underneath the slab. I'm standing right now on one of the things that will be cut flush with the slab, and a register will go in here. So we lose no efficiency by pushing that air through these ducts because they're all airtight and watertight. It also has built into it a heat recovery ventilator, and that's an air-to-air heat exchanger, and that means that fresh air will be coming into this house 24/7, and stale air will be exhausted 24/7. But the heat recovery ventilator passes the 72-degree stale air by the fresh air coming in. So if it's 0 degrees outside, it's bypassing that 72-degree air, and it actually takes heat out of the 72. So when it goes into the forced air system, it's more efficient. So when a house is as tight as this one, And we expect this house to be so tight that if we didn't do these air exchanges, it wouldn't be a healthy place to live in. Paul has asthma. He needs to have fresh air. So that heat recovery ventilator is a very key part of what indoor air quality, efficient indoor air quality will be able to provide. Belinda Banger from the Home Builders Association. Belinda is a HERS rater here in town. She's also the first vice president of the Home Builders Association. When we're finished here, she'll come in and put a blower door test on this house to confirm how tight it is. We think we'll probably be around the 0.1 air exchanges per hour, and that means that it's 3 times too tight for what healthy is. The rules basically say that you should have all fresh air in your house about every 3 hours. The house next door, built probably maybe 100 years ago, 80 years ago, is getting probably fresh air about every half hour. This house, at 0.1, would only get fresh air naturally about every 10 hours. That's too tight. That's why the HRV is part of the program here. We also will have compact fluorescent light bulbs in all the house, and the light fixtures. Belinda, am I missing anything as far as green features?
The fact that you use these types of duct system that's all sealed up throughout construction, the ducts stay clean throughout construction, and so when we do open those up, you don't have any of that construction debris left behind that can cause problems with
That is true. It's also the colored concrete floor. We all are starting to understand that carpeting is probably the least healthy thing you could have in your house. It's also a administrator. Because we're not putting down tile or linoleum, and we were able to use those savings for things like the upgraded insulation. The framing on the walls here, we're 2 foot on center. We have this myth that 16 on center, which is our standard typically, is somehow a better quality house. It's simply not. You don't need 16 on center framing. It gives you more insulation and less wood. Saves some money, better efficient more insulation in the walls. The main thing about greenness is a couple of things. It's an infill lot. That gets points in green building programs. It's under 1,000 square feet, but I think we can see by Tara Tillman's design. This is Tara, and here in the corner. A fantastic use of 900 square feet. This is a great efficient plan. I'm very jealous, actually.
We all like
but the point is that green can fit in any neighborhood at any price point, and that's kind of what we were really hoping to prove here. That green does not need to be expensive, it doesn't need to be exotic, and it should be what your next house is. So, thanks, Megan.